It's scary to ask for help. I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't even want to leave my work. But sometimes you have to take that leap. I moved to Markham in 2008. Before coming to Ontario, I suffered a stroke, which was quite altering for me. And so I was referred to a doctor who was affiliated to Markham Stouffville. And he also followed me through with my pregnancy. And my daughter was actually born in Markham Stouffville in 2009, which was really great. In 2016, I went through a divorce and I was now a single mom, working full time. But, I've been through so much in my life that I'm like, I could do this, I'm strong and we'll just keep going. And I did. It started taking a toll. I started feeling more and more guilty about leaving my daughter in the care of strangers. I was isolating myself more and more from friends because I was dedicating my whole life to work. And so I really wasn't taking care of myself. What started to happen was I started not sleeping. It got to the point where I ended up starting to feel very anxious, even at work. And my work was starting to get affected. And I was crying randomly, and I just didn't know why. I didn't particularly feel sad. I remember it was a Friday in October, and I was sitting at my desk, and every Friday I had to hand in this report to my VP, which I've done a million times, and the whole screen kind of went blank. And then I started feeling very dizzy and confused, and I said, okay, I don't feel well. And so I left work, I went straight to see my doctor, and he says, listen, Alia, okay, I've been seeing you now for almost 8 months. I really think you need a timeout here. I'm like, what does timeout? I don't take timeouts. No, I'm gonna work. And on the Monday, I remember I woke up and I'm like, what do I do now? And then I started spiraling even more. I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I was anxious, but I was sad. It was crying. It was just all these emotions that I couldn't understand. I didn't want to be here anymore. What's the purpose here? I think my daughter will be better off even without me. And I was literally thinking that. And that day, it was the day that I went to see my doctor. I walked in and I said, listen, these thoughts that I'm having are not good. You need to help me. The psychiatrist prescribed some medication. And he said, when you're ready, there's also some classes and courses you could take here at the hospital that can help. I was in the ward for a week, and they were exceptional there. They had things like art therapy there, yoga. I felt safe, and we did change medication. And I felt that there was hope. For the first time, I'm like, okay, I think we can move forward from here. I started doing a program called B.R.I.D.G.E, which is offered at the hospital, which is amazing. I really started to feel better. Within the B.R.I.D.G.E program, they also offer art therapy. During that time, I said, okay, let me take a full art therapy class. And I absolutely loved it at the time. I remember I was doing a drawing and then something triggered inside of me and I was just like crying. I had a full-on panic attack during art therapy and I said, what's happening? I'm just drawing, pictures. And she says, well, the emotions come out. I was actually feeling better. I met with my VP. I said, okay, I think I'm ready to go back to work, And literally 2 weeks later, I had a heart attack. Now it's, how do I deal with what is happening to me physically and my new reality for the rest of my life? I started doing the women's clinics specifically because I really wanted to focus on clinics that were women only. I just felt that perhaps I could have a better sense of connection. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to honor, where you're at that day, how your body's feeling. I am so grateful for the donations that both Shoppers Drug Mart and the Nanji Family Foundation. It's not just about providing art supplies. It's the opportunity to have women come together and give them a sense of community, give them a sense of purpose, give them a sense that you're not alone. And we need more of these groups because they're life-changing. For some women, It would have been the difference between maybe not being here today or going to a group. That's how impactful these groups are. I'm very grateful to the hospital, to the staff. They're just absolutely amazing.